Let's have a look at the next video. Here we're going to talk about those type of questions which are asked from income and expenditure types. Somebody has so much income, has so much expenditure, saves so much, and so on. So those type of questions are very popular in CAT and all other tests. So I thought of making a video with around 5 examples so that you can just start understanding these questions better. Let's have a look at the first question. The first question says Rachna spends 70% of her income. Her income is increased by 29% and her expenditure increases by 20%. So let's see what they're saying over here. In this particular case, Rachna spends 70% of her income. So we don't know her income first, but we know that whatever she gets, she spends 70%. Her income is increased by 29% and her expenses increased by 20%. What is the percentage increase in the savings? So we need to find old savings, new savings. Now think logically. Everything is in terms of percentage. That means I could have easily done this question with assumed values instead of taking variables. And that will make a lot of sense in this question. So what I would do is I would start with, say, income. In fact, in a lot of these questions, I have a habit of making income and expense and saving a table kind of thing. Okay. So I would start with my original income as 1,000 rupees. And that time the spending was 70%. So expenses was 70%, which means 700 rupees. That means the savings were 300 rupees. Leave that over there. Her income increased by 29%. So this has gone up by 29%. 29% of 1,000 is 290. So the new income will become 1290. Expenditure increases by 20%. So this number increases by 20%. 20% of 700 is 140. So this will become 840, right? Let's calculate what is the difference between these two. That will become your new saving. So the new saving will become 1290 minus 840, which will become 450. Now, that's with all assumed values. You could have tried with any set of assumed values. Yes, you will get different numbers, but that is not important. We want the percentage. What is the percentage increase? And whenever percentage increase is asked, the formula is always the same. Change or increase, whatever you want to call it, from 300, it has become 450. So the increase is 150 upon the original into 100. 150 ones are 150 twos are 100 divided by 2 becomes 50%. So doing the question directly, easily with a set of values makes the question very, very doable over here because everything was in terms of percentages. Let's have a look at the next question. Now, in the next question, what can I see? The income of Jack and Jill are in the ratio of 5:9. So there's some ratio and their expenses are in the ratio 8:11. So again, I can start with the same thing. I can make income, expense, and savings. But this time and there are two people, Jack and Jill, right? So everything is in ratio. So I'll have to use a variable. I'll have to use at least one variable, okay? I'll show you a couple of approaches for this question. So what I would start with, incomes are in the ratio of 5:9. So I would take the income as 5x and 9x. Okay. And their spendings are in the ratio 8:11. So I could take this as 8y and 11y. So their savings will become how much? They will become, Jack saves. First of all, I will get the savings will be 5x minus 8y and 9x minus 11y. Now they've told us Jack saves 1/5 of his income. That means 1/5 of this number Jack saves. So, which will give me a relation between x and y. So 5x minus 8y. 5x minus 8y is 1/5 of his income. Income was 5x. 1/5 of 5x will become x. So I'll get 4x is equal to 8y and x is equal to 2y. Now, if you want in the whole question, you can remove either x or y, doesn't matter. We'll see what is asked first. Why worry about it now? We have been asked the savings of Jack and Jill are in what ratio. So these are the savings. That means we want to find 5x minus 8y upon 9x minus 11y is what I want to find. Now, for every x, I can just write 2y. So 5x will become 10x, 10y minus 8y upon 9x will become 18y minus 11y. Okay. So we're just changing the x to 2y. So in the numerator, I'll have 2y upon 7y, y cut. So the answer which we were looking for is 2:7, right? The ratio in which their savings is. Now, is this the only way to do it? No. You could have done it a slightly more smarter way. Okay. For this particular example, not for all of them, but for this particular example, we could have done a slightly smarter way. So let me explain the slightly smarter way to you. So I will start with the same thing. There's income, there is expense, and there is savings. Okay. There is Jack and there is Jill. Now, they have told us this first part, I will take the same way. The ratio of the incomes were 5x and 9x. Then instead of just writing the expenses, what I decided was to read this next statement. If Jack saves 1/5 of his income, so I know Jack's saving is 1/5 of 5x, that means this is x. Now, if your income is 5x and if you're saving x rupees, how much are you spending? You're obviously spending 4x. So your expense was 4x. And this is how I got this expense is also in terms of x. But the ratio of the expenses, when the ratio 8:11. So if this is 8, then how much is 11? 11 would be 5.5x. 8:11. 8 is 4x. So 11 will be 5.5x. No worry about a small decimal. Don't worry too much with the decimal. So how much is Jill ka saving? 9x minus 5.5x, which will be 3.5x. And we wanted ratio of their savings. That means 1x upon 3.5x, xx cut. So remove the decimal, it will become 10 upon 35, which will be 5 sevens and 5 twos. So answer is 2:7. I thought this was a much smarter way of doing the question, because sometimes we just have to read the whole question to understand what extra information is going to be given to us. Okay, let's go ahead with the next one. The ratio of the monthly income of X and Y is in the ratio 3:5, and the ratio of the expenditure is 1:2. If each of them saves 5,000 per month, what is the monthly income of X? This question you could have done completely through equations. Let me first show that approach, and then we'll think whether there was some possible other option also. So, monthly income. So again, incomes of X and Y. So x, y. So let's call this 3x and 5x, because whenever the ratio is given, you can always take 3x and 5x. Now, income, expenses are in the ratio 1:2. So I can take 1y and 2y. So even if I don't read the part first, I know that their savings will be 3x minus y and 5x minus 2y, and both of them are 5,000. So I could make two equations. One is this 3x minus y is 5,000, and the other is 5x minus 2y is also equal to 5,000, right? And we should be able to solve simultaneous equations easily. Like for example, if I multiply these two equations, this equation by 2 and this equation by 1, and then if I subtract the equations, I'll get the value of x. We'll see how will we do that. What have they asked for? They've asked for the monthly income of x. That means they've asked for 3x. Great. Let's do that. So the first equation will become 6x minus 2y is 10,000. Let's leave this equation as it is and now subtract both the equations. So 6x minus 5x will become x, minus 2y plus 2y will cut out, and 10,000 minus 5,000 will become 5,000. So x will become 5,000. What have they asked for? They've asked for income of x. That means they've asked the value of 3x. So 3 into 5,000 The income of X is 15,000, right? So one was this way, I just converted them both to simultaneous equations and got them very easily. The other thing is, because we can also work on that, you can look at it as ratios. Since both of them were going to save 5,000 rupees, okay, we could equate these two, get a relation between X and Y and then solve it. Or we could have first put 5,000 over here, 5,000 over here. Don't take the Y at all. Okay, in fact, I'll show you that approach. The second approach, which I would prefer showing, is not taking Y at all. So it has been told to us that both of them save 5,000, right? So the second approach for this question can be, let's take the savings first. Let's write 5,000 over here in the savings column. So what will I get? This will be 5,000. This is 5,000. So how much am I spending? Suppose if I am X, my income is 3X and my saving is 5,000. That means I'm spending 3X minus 5,000. And same for Y, he's spending 5X minus 5,000. And the ratio between that is 1:2. So this upon this is 1/2. So 3X minus 5,000 upon 5X minus 5,000 is 1/2. Let's cross multiply this. What will we get? So we'll get 6X minus 10,000 is equal to 5X minus 5,000, which will give me X is equal to 5,000, which is what we had got earlier also, because we want X only. So over here we wanted 3X ka answer because they asked for the monthly income of X. So 3X will be 15,000, which will be the final answer. So different approaches can be used based on what you are comfortable with. Let's have a look at one more question, where now there are three things attached and three people are there. So the monthly income of Jack, Jill and John, and the ratio of 5:9:14. So income for Jack, Jill and John. What have they said? It is in the ratio of 5:9:14. So I can take 5X, 9X and 14X. While the ratio of their expenses is in the ratio 8:11:Y. Okay. Now, again, I can do this part. See, Jack saves 1/5 of his income. So this is expense. And then there is savings. Pay attention carefully. Jack saves 1/5 of his income. So this can become X. That means this will become 4X. We did this exactly same earlier. So if 8 parts is 4X, 11 part will be 5.5X. And 20 parts will be 10X. That means what will be Jill's savings? It will be 9X minus 5.5X, which will come out to be 3.5X. And this will be 14X minus 10X, which will be 4X, right? Now, Jill's saving are 3,000 more than the average of Jack and John. So Jill is 3,000 more. So 3.5X minus 3,000 will be equal to the average of these two. Average of X and 4X will be, average means add and divide by 2. So X plus 4X is 5X. 5X divided by 2 will be 2.5X. So 3.5X minus 2.5X, X becomes 3,000. We saved a lot of things over here. We want to find the monthly savings of all three. So the first one will become 3,000 rupees. That is, Jack will be 3,000. Jill will be 3.5X. So 3.5 into 3,000. That will be 9 plus another 1.5. That will be 10,500. And this will be 4 into 3, 12,000. So the savings of three of them are 3,000, 10,500 and 12,000. A pretty interesting question and very neatly done. Understand that very importantly, because by taking this X, I saved a lot of time. Otherwise, if you take two variables, you unnecessarily waste a lot of time. So with that, we come to the end of this video. I hope you go through this video very carefully and learn something. Thank you for watching.